Oh, yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back yet again to another edition of the Feel Better About Yourself show. We're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna do it here. Look who we've got. Oh my god. right, right away. Cryptic Catalyst Vault. What's up, man? How you doing? Nice to see you. It's gonna be a nice relaxing evening tonight. Nothing fancy. Just doing some Warhammer 40K kill team stuff. I'm gonna turn on some tunes in a second here because it's gonna be mostly just me painting and nothing really all that interesting. But I figured I got nothing going on. I figured I would just do some painting and see how everybody's doing this evening. Some people don't have anybody to be with this evening. I could have hung out with my brother, but I chose not to just because I don't know. I want to keep painting this team. But anyway, it's good to see you too, man. Don't feel like you have to stay to watch this whole thing. I'm not going to be talking very much. It's just going to be mostly me painting. So it's really nothing at all if you don't want to stay for all that. But some people don't have anything else they're doing on Christmas Eve, and I like to be here to. I'm just going to be here to hang out with people. So let me play a little video here really quick to get you guys in the mood for painting miniatures. Yeah. You can't argue with that. All right. Now back to lame, stupid shit. All right. Let me turn some music on here real quick. Hold on. Cool your horses. Oh, we got all these options on StreamYards, but I'm going to Feeding the Ducks. Now that's a classic. Remember this from back when you used to like FNT? Yeah. That was a classic, baby. But instead, it's a little loud. Let's reel it back in there. Okay, so we got some good old-fashioned Soviet wave going on here. If you guys don't know what Soviet wave is, it's synthwave, except with a little bit of a Soviet style. Pretty rad. Anyway, like I said, just going to be painting tonight. Nothing crazy. Don't expect anybody to come in. If you want to come in and just hang out and chat, let me know. I'll send you the link. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking about boring painting stuff. So here we have... So first of all, I've got the Adeptus Mechanicus kill team, which if I could move my camera to show you, well, I could just bring them all onto the center stage here. It's a top-down view, so it's not the greatest view. But me and my brother, my little brother, have been getting into Kill Team recently. We used to play HeroClix together. If you guys know what HeroClix is, it's a great, fantastic game. How would I put it? We used to not play with the correct rules, so the last time we played, it's got to be like 6 years ago, I kept obliterating him, and you know how it is. You got a rivalry, you got a competition with your brother, and you're just like, I'm gonna murder him. I'm just gonna destroy him. And so that's how it was for us. Instead of me playing the game like, let's just have some fun. Let's play it by the rules, and so we stopped playing that game, but now we've got 40K Kill Team, which we're both really big into. I mean, I already have my own. I'm going to show you some of the guys here. I already have my own Space Marine Kill Team. with the replaced helmets, the Errant Mark 7 helmets, which are the best helmets for all the Space Marines. 40K is a really wonderful universe. It's actually really spectacular, and it hasn't been too affected by like modern sensibilities, so that's always a fun thing. It's still horribly dark. It's still horribly like depressing and violent, and it's fun. It's fun to do that. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit of bits and things on these guys here. Obviously, you can see there, a lot of it's been blocked out already. Most of this is just like ready for washes. This guy's going to be interesting. He's a breacher, so he's going to have like a kind of melt-a-gun here. I'm going to have to get that all inflamed, and we'll see how that works out. But you can, just by looking at this model, you can see I've done a lot of the work already. Up here, you can see that's not painted. That's still just base coat. We'll get there. White coats, white base coats on the things that are going to be lights, because I like to do that with like a kind of a runny color to make it pop. Same with this guy right here, who he's got this arc gun here, and that's going to be, I'm going to do a lot of blue on that. In fact, I might do that right now because that'd be cool to do. Yeah, let's do that right now. In between me doing things, because the way painting works is you got to wait a few minutes for things to dry. So in between that, I'm going to be working on just some of the. That's horrible. Why isn't it? I hate it when it doesn't focus. We're going to be doing some extra stuff on some of the kind of environmental pieces there, like this piece right here. This just needs a good old-fashioned wash of some Null Noil and Agrax Earthshade on the brown part. And then it'll look good. It'll look better. It looks pretty good already, honestly. That's the beauty of dry brushing, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, so before I get into that, I got to paint this with the Balthazar Gold and the Iron Belcher. And then we'll get that going. So let me get that Balthazar Gold going here. Got to whack off a little bit real quick here. I don't know if you guys ever saw that Deadpool 2 trailer where he was trying to be Alex Ross, or not Alex Ross, but what's his name? What's his name? That famous painter. Look at how beautiful that is. Aren't metallics just beautiful? They're so spectacular. Everybody shits on the Catholic Church for their metallics. But they've got the best metallics. Wow, we've got such great metallics. Oh my God. So anyway. This is the part where I stop talking because I'll be focusing. Bob Ross. Yes, exactly. That's it. Catalyst. It's so funny. Those that advertising campaign for all the Deadpool movies, with the exception of 3. 3 didn't really need the kind of underground advertising campaign that 1 and 2 had. And because it had Hugh Jackman. So they were like, what are we doing here? We'll just do AAA advertising. Which makes sense. But it was those olden days of Deadpool advertising were some of the best because it was always just him, like Ryan Reynolds is legitimately Deadpool, and it's just like as a person, and it's just cool to see him just act stupid and funny around people. And that Bob Ross video is one of the best videos. He's looking at it pans out and he's looking at a bunch of mountains and he's like, God, I miss cocaine so much. Funny shit. Yeah, get it in there. I'm not going to be streaming for very long, probably like an hour 15 or so. And like I said, you guys don't have to stay with me out of pity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's okay. I'm just doing this because I got nothing else to do tonight, and figured I'd pop on a stream. I was just on Immortal Rising stream. Aaron C, Comicsgate Commando, great guy, fantastic guy. That was a lot of fun. We also had Chris Fisk on there. I say that like it was part of my idea. Chris Fisk was also on there. Great guy as well. Infinitale Chronicles, also known as Infinitale Chronicle, because he's got like a Japanese voiceover for his new trailer. It's awesome. It's so great. Oh yeah, we got Basilisk here. Merry Christmas from the UK from the UK. What's up, brother? How you doing? I just saluted you, but you can't see it because you can only see my hands right now. What time is it over there right now for you in the UK? Probably like early morning, I'd imagine. 5, 6. But you're from the UK, so you know how seriously Warhammer is taken over there. And rightfully so. It's a great game. And I think these Warhammer games, war fighter games, are really great actually for men. I think if you can combine war fighting games with actual hand-to-hand combat or like tactical military training, I think that's what men should be doing. We live in a kind of soft society where war is this kind of like we don't really talk about it very much, and it's like, oh, it'll never happen to me kind of thing. But it's already happening to you and to your friends and family, and you should be aware that that's going on, and you should be able to know how to be able to fight. You as a man should know how to be able to fight a war. Because if you've got a wife and kids, especially, like, and I don't, so I'm just like a, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Maverick, I guess. I don't know. That's not the right word I'm looking for. But if you have a wife and kids, you should know how to defend them. I really do think that. And because who's going to do it besides you? You know what I mean? Like, this is something that I think the culture has taken away from us is the art of war is a very beautiful thing. Although it's horrible, although war is horrible, and I would say that I am a pacifist. I don't believe that war is necessary. I think that that it is unnecessary in most regards until somebody makes it necessary for you. And generally speaking, the kind of people we're talking about who make these things necessary for you are they don't have your opinions, your beliefs. And so you are put in the position of ignoring war for comfort's sake and the art of war, or figuring out how to do it so you can make sure your family and you are safe. I don't know, these hold on. He says 3:20 a.m. Good God, why are you awake right now? Why are you awake? Why are you watching this? God damn it, dude. Go to sleep. We got Rosario. He says, Merry Christmas, Patrick. Merry Christmas, Scribe. Nice to see you, brother. Merry Christmas to all of you. Hold on. I'm going to have to say something stern to my birds here. Stop making that noise. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Benji. I know it's you. Stop it. Don't look at me like you don't know. He knows exactly who I'm talking to, but he's like, what, me? Me? I wasn't making that ridiculously annoying screeching noise. That's the one drawback of having birds. By the way, we're using Lead Belcher here. Great paint. I love Lead Belcher. Rosario says, you need a wet palette, bro. It helps with painting. Yes and no. So this is my palette, which is off screen. So you can see I've got the Mournfang brown here and Mephiston red. Mephiston red's such a great color because it always like it looks really bright right now, but it always dries darker. And I actually really like darker colored things. It just makes it look, I don't know, more grim dark, more depressing, which I'm a big fan. And I always like wash everything with Nuln Oil anyway. So I kind of go for that kind of darker look. So I do use this. It's not a wet palette, I know. But I'm very old-fashioned. Like what I'll do is I'll put the paint in the pot, and then I'll dip my water or my brush in water, and I'll like dab that in there, and give it enough. It's funny because my brother even gave me like a little droplet, like a water droplet thing, but I'm so used to my little thing that I do now that I just don't use it. I don't use the wet palette. I don't use the. Like I'm still painting like I did when I was 12. And I don't know, it works for me. It works all right for me. Like look at this guy. I know this isn't like GW level professionalism. Look at that. Now it's in focus. He looks pretty good though. I think he looks pretty darn good. Even the plasma pistol there. So, I don't know. The end result is pretty nice for me. Okay. Wet palette saves a ton of. That's 100% sure. Yeah, for sure. I know it does that, and I know. Yeah, because you can even see me. Like you'll see me go. Like here's an example. I'll take this brush and I'll put it into the Mephiston red, and I've got all this Mephiston red on the brush, but you can see like all these little lines that I've done here, where I knock off some of that paint. And I don't know if that would be similar with wet palettes or not, but I know that you can, like, the paint that you put on that wet palette, you can save for later. Because, like, in about an hour, I'm going to clean this whole thing out and get all this, like, wet paint out of there, which is wasting paint, I know. But, I don't know, it's just the way I've always done things, and it's just a hobby, just for fun, So I don't worry too much about it. Scribe says it helps. Yeah, it does. Merry Christmas, dork, says Katie did. Thanks, Katie. Merry Christmas to you too. You should do more of these streams. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've got 8 viewers right now, shockingly. I don't even think that's real. I think it's a fake number. It's a fake number. It's not real. Nice. Thank you, sir. Yeah, dude, everybody needs to show off their minis. I feel like everybody's got sick minis that they're just keeping to themselves. Show off your minis. They're awesome. And we're in that whole sphere, where it's like no one's going to fucking judge you for having a mini, bro. Like for liking minis and stuff. And it's funny cuz like the first person who judges you for liking minis, just remember that person likes comic books. So it's like you're not brother. Stop. We all like stupid, dorky things. And I say stupid in a fake way. Like, it's not stupid. It's fucking cool. You could be doing any number of things right now that are so useless and stupid. Like, I could be at a strip club right now. Or I could be at a bar getting drunk. Instead of spending my time actually making art. It's not, the same thing as, like, making a comic book. Like, I wouldn't consider it that. But it's still... I'm still doing something that's artistic. Katie says, Santa got my oldest daughter lots of paints, canvas, and art goodies. Very cool. Very cool. See, encouraging artistry in the youth. I'm trying to get her more into art. That's what you need to be doing. Minis, Patrick. It's okay, bro. Oh, like the mini streams is what you're saying? Sorry, my bad. We got Carbon Heart, ladies and gentlemen. Colonel Carbon Heart. Hail General Q. Hail chat. What's up, Carbon? Thanks for popping in here. Appreciate it. Scribe says, I got a few Sergio Calvas 1/35th scale figures. I don't even know what those are. I'll have to look that up. Katie, I'm so... You're so blonde. She says, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to using my iron breaker, my lead belcher. Whoops, not iron breaker. Just doing a little bit of, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, doing a little bit of like environmental pieces here because they're really easy. They're super easy, and it's all like, it's like eating candy doing this kind of stuff. All you have to do is apply metallics and then apply washes. Do you guys have any idea the joy of dry brushing and applying washes? It's like vacuuming a carpet that's like super dirty, and then you see it not be dirty as you vacuum it. That's how satisfying it is. It's a very satisfying thing. But Rosario, I wanted to say to you, I don't ever water down my metallic paints. I just like, you see what I'm doing here? See, I have too much paint on this pillar here. So I'm going to wipe some of it off of the brush and then draw the rest of it out across the figure here. And I don't know why that is. I think it's because I did water down my metallics before, and it was it didn't look good. Like, it looked horrible, actually. Like, it, for whatever, like, made bubbles, and it made like particles in the paint that looked so bad that it was the model that I painted that was unusable. So now I don't ever water down metallics. Metallics are just straight up, like, the way they come out the bottle is the way they're coming. And I don't know, it's kind of simple for me. I usually like to dry brush with metallics, but there's a lot, you know, this is a big section here that needs to be all one color, so I had to make it that way. All right, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to show you guys another fun trick. Learn NMM style for metallics. I will have to look that up because I've not heard of that. I have not heard of that. NMM style. Scribe, if you want to stream and paint minis, brother, I'm totally down to do that. 100%. I even have like 2 more kill teams on the way because I'm going to be, some of you guys might know I'm going to be out for like a couple weeks here in January. I'm going to be gone like after January 9th. I'm going to be gone till February. So I won't be like doing comics. I won't be on camera, but I'd still like to paint stuff. And I've got a few kill teams. Like you can see, I've got, you know, I've got the Adeptus Mechanicus kill team, Battleclade, which this guy's not, you can see he's not even, I've just like put base paints on him. He's not even close to being, like, he's not even close to being as good as these other guys. I've been working on the servitors first. So I've got these 2 kill teams already painted. My Angels of Death and Adeptus Mechanicus are in the process. And then I've got the Orc Boys on the way, which are going to be a lot of fun to paint. And then I've got the Stealth Battlesuit Tau kill team, which I know a lot of people hate. The Tau. I don't. I think they're pretty fucking cool, personally. So let me show you something here that's a lot of fun. This is what we call Null Noil. It's like, I'm pretty sure that God gave this to humanity in the olden days of yore, and we forgot about it until Games Workshop remade it. This is the greatest thing in the whole world, because if you suck at painting like I do, it makes you look really good. See, he says, get a $60 airbrush and you'll never go back. I'm never getting an airbrush. I'll never, ever, ever get an airbrush. Never. It's not the same as AI, but it gives me the same ick. That was so gay the way I said that. Oh my god, it gives me the ick. Oh man. So with Nuln Oil, no way, he says. Garvin just it's nasty. Airbrushes are nasty, bro. They're like cheating. I look back at the shit that people did in the 90s, like in White Dwarf magazine. And I got those back in the day. You know, the late 90s, early 2000s. And I look at the shit they did without airbrushes, and I'm like, I have zero excuses here. I can do this shit. I can do what they did. So here's an example of what Nuln Oil does. Nuln Oil is a very thin paint. And what it does essentially is it recedes into the cracks and crevices here, and thereby making the rest of everything pop. So as you can see, I've already dry brushed this piece of terrain. So you can see some light markings on the corners and stuff. That's the bottom. It's unpainted. Don't look at that. Now, Nuln Oil is great for certain colors, but it's not great for certain other colors. So anything that's more predominantly brown than it is metallic or black isn't going to work. So I'll give you an example here. We've got this guy right here. This guy, he was gray, and I dry brushed him with metallic paints until he was very, very bright. But then I Nuln Oiled the shit out of this guy. I gave him like at least 4 different coats of Nuln Oil. Until now, he's pretty much... Come on, focus. Why won't it focus? Until now, he's pretty much black. He's not black. You can see, the metallic aspect of him. But that's what I like to do with Nuln Oil. I like to break the rules with it. So let's bring it back in here. I'm not going to apply the Nuln Oil to this mud pile here. I've got a different color for that, Agrax Earthshade. But for the stones here, which are more gray than they are brown, that's where I'm going to do the Nuln Oil. And I like to get a big old dollop of it like that, and then spread it out, and try to like spread it out into the corners and stuff. I might hit it again with the Nuln Oil. We'll see at the end. But you can already see how it's kind of seeping into those crevices. And it looks wet right now, but it's going to dry. And the beautiful thing about Nuln Oil is that it dries very, very, very flat. I love flat colors. Not that I'm against gloss things. Because, like, for instance, these guys they've got a gloss black, as you can see, for, like, their suit there. I like to, though, differentiate between different textures with different styles of paint. So, I think that my main concern with painting things is that when they're viewed from a tabletop perspective, not up close, but when they're viewed from 3 feet, 4 feet away as you're playing with them, that they look as realistic as they can from that distance. So I'm not too concerned about are people going to zoom in on this and see how good it doesn't look in certain ways. I'm more concerned with when I'm playing with it, does it look sick? It looks so sick, bro. So let's put that in there. It's getting some nice shadows there. And like I said, this Nuln Oil is going to make everything else pop more. It might look like a thin layer that I'm putting on here, but once it dries, you'll see the stark difference. Whoops. There we go. Some of that in there. I've been painting since I was a wee child, a wee lad. Look at that. Look at how much better that already looks. Do you see that? It looks a million times better than it looked before. It looked flat before. Here we've got a stone. Look at this stone. I've dry brushed it to get some of the pop those details out on the top. And now I'm literally just gonna lay it right here and slather it with Nuln Oil. Let's go. But like I'm saying, this is like cheating. Nuln Oil. This is as far as I'm gonna go. I won't do a spray brush, but Nuln Oil. The combination of Nuln Oil and dry brushing has spectacular effects. If you can see here, though, there's too much black, too much Nuln Oil. Too much black, too much Nuln Oil here on the top portion. So I'm gonna like use my brush to like move it around over the rest of the model to kind of fix that, so it's not too much on any one area. Getting on the sides here. People might be upset that I'm holding the model. It's just a piece of terrain. It's not going to matter at the end of the day. But yeah, even that already looks a million times better than it did before. Now I'll give you a different example as I whack off over here. Oh my god. There are no blacks in 40K, says Scribe. What about Chiron, bro? Oh, that's right. They killed Chiron off screen, so I guess there actually aren't any more blacks in 40K. Oh my god. Intense Shifter. What's up, brother? I don't think you've been here before, but I might not be recognizing your actual YouTube tag versus your presented name, because they, now StreamYards is just presenting everybody's YouTube tags and not their actual names, which is not frustrating at all. That's sarcasm. It's very frustrating. Anyway, here we have Agrax Earthshade. Agrax Earthshade, as opposed to Nuln Oil, is the color that you want to put on more brownish, bronzish colors. And it works like a charm. It makes things look like mud. So as you can see here, I'll give you an example. So you guys saw me painting this piece earlier. But here is a piece of terrain that has had Nuln Oil on the metallic and stone parts, and then Agrax Earthshade on the kind of muddy part. And it just looks a lot better. It just is way better. The difference is night and day. So anyway, we're gonna hit this up with some of that. You want to be careful to avoid hitting it onto... I mean, if you hit it onto the bronze, that's not the worst thing in the world. But silverish colors, brownish or grayish colors, getting hit by Agrax Earthshade does not look good. It makes it look... you can do it if you're trying to go for like a kind of rusted feel. Which I guess I could do right now, because this is, debris. It's rubbish. Rubbish? But I'm not gonna. I like things to pop. Just applying applying that everywhere there. Switch it around. Get some of that extra stuff off. And then go back and hit the rest of that there. I want to hit this with the Agrax Earthshade, but it's still drying from the Nuln Oil, and I don't want to touch it while it's doing that. So, while we're waiting for that to dry, which does take a little bit of time, I got to do some more cleanup on these Mechanicus guys with their Nuln or their Lead Belcher. So So I combined a lot of different metallics on these guys. Balthazar Gold, Lead Belcher, and Runefang Steel, which is okay. It's okay. Hold on, I'm gonna bitch real quick. Look at this. I did this on the other on Frederick's show as well, but I'm gonna say it again here. Sky Gray. This is also Sky Gray, Vallejo model color. Okay, these color, they're not the same color. I don't know if you guys can tell this. You know what? I'm gonna demonstrate it. Hold on. I gotta demonstrate this somehow. But they're not the same color. They act like they're the same color. And I know that this is the older version of the bottle. But this color is way brighter than this color. This color is like dark white. This color is like straight up gray. And it really bothers me that they're trying to sell you the same thing. Because this was one of the greatest colors of all time. Sky Gray from Vallejo. I love this color. We got Glass Machine. What's his oh my god, what was his fucking real name? I know who you are, brother. Thank you for being here. He says Vallejo sounds Mexican. Taco eaters just lying to us. The Mexicans make some good paints, bro. They really do. Like outside of Citadel, which is the main Games Workshop paints, you know. I love Vallejo. I love their stuff. I'm not going to demonstrate it to you because I have like maybe this much left. And I need that for later. But just suffice it to say, this is not the same color. It's false advertising and it really pisses me off. Okay. Let's do some Lead Belcher on these guys. Got to shake it up. Look at that. Nice kind of dark gray metallic color. I'm going to use my finest brush here. Very fine. Boris Vallejo. No, it's different. All right, let's take a quick peek at this guy. So obviously this top part right here needs to be painted. I don't know why I didn't paint it before, but it's there. We got this little bit here at the end of this kind of corrugated pipe thing hanging off his backpack. Got to color that up. This thing looks a little sloppy. I want to fix that up. I did pretty good applying the Balthazar Gold here on these portions. Did pretty all right. So I think those are okay. Those are okay to keep. And I already fixed up this part earlier today. So let's hit this this top portion here. This is the Breacher Servitor. So as you can see, I don't know if see, I always like to compare the way I do things to other people. I didn't get the full brush in that silver there, just the tip, naturally. And then what I'm going to do, which I always do, is kind of slough off a bit of it here. As you can see, I've done that many and many a time. Just get the extra stuff off so it's not like globbing on. Because like I said, I don't water down the metallic paints at all. So you don't want it to go on too thick. Otherwise, it'll drown out the details of the model. And that's the kiss of death. You know you've done it wrong if the model's details have been drowned out. I know this is wasting a lot of paint. I get that. But I just like kind of take that as like the price of doing business. Not too worried about it. You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. And I think I'll top that off with some Balthazar Gold at the end to kind of add some extra detail into the sides of it or the top of it. But for right now, getting a nice thin coat of Leadbelcher on there, I think is... it's going to do wonders. Merry Christmas, by the way, everybody. It's not every day that the literal creator of the universe incarnates as a human person to save us all from our stupid shit. So, although technically speaking, if you're God and you don't perceive time in a linear fashion like human people do, then it is actually every day. So, get off of my mic! God damn it. Go find some seeds to eat or something. And then immediately uses the Lord's name in vain. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. We all have our flaws. Some of us have like multiple ones. It's okay. I feel like there's too much up here. Yep, that's about as good as that's gonna get. I see a little strange line here at the bottom of his jawline. It's shining too brightly. Maybe I accidentally hit it with something. I'm gonna go ahead and go over that one more time. But it turns out that that's just Ironbreaker. It's just shining in the light. So, my bad. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at this guy, mate. See what's going on over here. Oh, wait. I forgot to do his pipes. Whoops. Okay. You see these little pipes at the bottom there? Now, I think I could do this with a bigger brush. I've seen other people do it with a bigger brush. I see a lot of people painting with, like, ridiculously sized brushes. Like, how the fuck are you getting that detail? By painting with a brush so small. But I just chalk it up to them just being more talented. So I've got to cheat. I've got to use little brushes. Good enough. I'm going to fix up this, excuse me, fix up this little white area around this box in the back here. Because I want the white to be inside of that circular area, but I do not want it to be on the rim or anywhere outside of that area, because that's going to be like a lighted area. All the lighted areas that I do on my models, I base paint with white, and then I use a wash of some whatever color I want to do, and it ends up working out pretty well. I would say it ends up always looking pretty good. I think I'll probably give an example of that here. So with this white here, I want to make that reddish orange. So or red being a darker color than orange. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of a wash in that white area. And we'll do that in a second here once we get through with some of this Leadbelcher. And put a little bit of a wash in there. Let that dry. That'll probably take all night to dry. I like to let those washes dry like a long time. Especially if it's a wash I've made and not one that like comes ready-made. If it comes ready-made, like, it just, for me, I like to leave it. I like to let it sit for like a day. Unless I'm doing a specific effect. So I've done effects. See, now you've got yourself in paint water. That's what happens when you fly into paint water. Sorry, my birds. They're acting all wild. Actually, got to put them to bed in a second here, so. By the way, little tip for people. I just cleaned this brush off. You probably can't see from this distance, but it does not have a fine point anymore after cleaning it off. So then what I do is I just dip it once in water. You can see the water droplets on there. And then I just, a couple times, just pull it so that it comes to a nice little point there. And then you let that sit. And then you've still got a brush with a great point. I'm not leaving. I've just got to put my birds to bed real quick. So let's see here. I'm going to do a standby video for like 2 minutes. I'm sorry, folks, but I'll be back in just a second here. My bad. Okay, I could have let the song finish, but I didn't. Okay, let's see here. Katie says, Merry Christmas, chat. Hyena Dude says, oh, is this Battle Clade? Yes, it is. And then she says, my granny had a bird. Katie says, my granny had a bird. She kept him in the kitchen. And when we used to have sleepovers as kids, me and my sis would sneak in the middle of the night and lift the blanket over the cage and play. Oh, that's awesome. Peekaboo, to play peekaboo. Eventually she caught us and scolded us and got the switch. The switch. Did she make you go find the switch? That's the most like mentally unnerving one, where they're just like, I want you to go out and pick your switch from the willow tree. You're like, no, I don't want to pick, because you know if you pick like the wrong switch, They're going to be like, this is a little too small. Go back and try again. And then you don't want them to choose the Switch because then it's going to be murder. Okay, so we got a regular servitor here. What's he got? I don't know all the names for the guns right yet. I'm looking at this detail here on the side of his gun, and I'm thinking that it wouldn't look all right by itself. So I'm gonna, what do I want to do here? Because he does have some things I need to fix up with Leadbelcher, like the little clasps here for those 3 wires all over here. I want to fix those up a bit. That one doesn't look good at all. That one looks horrible in the back. That one in the front looks also horrible, but that's because I put a bunch of Screaming Skull on that torso plate there. Although, did you guys look at this? You see the little yellow and black lining I did on his little pipe there? I'm pretty proud of that. Pretty proud of the yellow and black pipes I did on some of these characters. Kind of hazard stripes. That was all freehand. So I'm waiting for somebody in the chat to be like, it looks like shit, Patrick. It was a fly swatter, Katie says, but it stings the same. A fly swatter. Katie, one time, this is the last time my mom ever spanked me. Because my dad would use the belt. You know what I'm saying? He'd use a leather belt. That's that, baby. Like, there's no escaping a leather belt. My mom, though, she would resort to the either her hand or yeah, it looks like shit, Patrick. Start over. She would use either her hand or a yardstick. And one time, and so the thing with my mom was like, if she lets you keep your pants on and not take your pants off, the pants on, like say you're wearing jeans, you've got at least like a 5 to 6 point damage reduction. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you got to pull the pants down, this all sounds like, I don't know, maybe sounds gross to some people, but this is how it was. Like, you get spanked when you're a bad kid. That's how it is, and that's how it's going to be in my family if I ever get a family. So it's like, I don't really care what people think about that, but that's how it is. You get spanked. And the most effective way to spank a child is to not let them wear jeans. But anyway, my mom would use a yardstick, a wooden yardstick. And one time, I had my jeans on, and she smacked me as hard as she could with that yardstick, and it broke. It broke in half. And as a kid, I thought that she was so mad that it broke in half that she had to leave the room. But as an adult, I know now that she was laughing to herself so much that she had to, because she wanted me to, feel disciplined. So she couldn't laugh about it in front of me. Otherwise, then I would laugh about it too. So she had to go to a different room to just like laugh about the fact that she broke the yardstick on me. Oh, man. Scribe says, the worst was the first beating from mom. And then she says, wait till your father comes home. Yes, dude. Yes. When your dad gets home. And they were fucking, look, they were, again, I'm not complaining about this. I think that what they did was a great thing. So there's no aspect of me saying this that like, I'm like, oh, they shouldn't have done this. They should have. I was a stubborn, angry, aggressive little Irish boy, and they bent me to their will like any good parent ought to do with their stupid little children who are acting out. I love children, but they're children. They act out. They do stupid things, and you got to force them to not do them. But one time she was like, when your dad comes home. And so we went to bed that night, about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock or something like that. And we were all like, oh, thank God. Like it's dad's not home yet. Like we're good. We're he's not going to wake us up. Legitimately. 11 p.m. rolls around. The lights turn on because we all slept in the same room. We didn't like have a lot of money back in those days. Not like we have a lot of money now, but it's like, we all lived in the same room is what I'm trying to say. We all slept in the same room, and he turned the light on at 11 p.m. and we all got spanked by the belt. We were like in the middle of sleeping. Can you imagine sleeping and then waking up to get spanked? That was a lesson we never forgot. I laugh about it now because it's funny. It is funny. But they were fair too. My parents are very fair. One time we were messing around. It was all four of us boys messing around in our room. And I had just gotten a Darth Maul lightsaber, double-bladed lightsaber, for my birthday or Christmas or something. It was a gift that I'd gotten. A prized possession, as it were. You know, we're messing around with that. Trying to get this Balthazar gold to, like, not get onto the rim here. And we were messing around, and my mom opens the door. And I'm at the door, because I heard her coming. And I've got this Darth Maul lightsaber, and I'm literally holding it, like, behind the door that just opened. Come on, camera, focus. And she goes, "What were you guys doing?" And everybody's like, "Nothing. Nothing." And I'm like, I hold the lightsaber out, and I'm like, "We were playing around with the lightsaber." And she was like, "Okay. Thank you for being honest, Patrick." And then everybody else got spanked because they lied. But I didn't get spanked because I was telling the truth. Very important lesson. Balthazar gold is a really wonderful color because it's kind of gold, but it's kind of red. It's got this kind of bronzish tint to it. It is a little harder to work with than the other metallic paints. Like I said, I don't water them down at all, so maybe I'm missing something about how that works. But I like to work it into the brush, get off the extra paint, and then just kind of like lightly, ever so lightly, apply it to some of these standout details here. And it goes on really nice. I mean, that's the thing about metallic paints. They go on really, really nice, very easily. It's a bit of a thicker portion there. Sometimes you got to kind of massage the paint where it needs to be. There we go. Look at that. That's nice. But then, just due to the way that I do things, you do have to do a lot of like reapplying paint to the brush. Because once it's come off, it loses a lot of its efficacy. So you gotta re-up it. There we go. Look at that. Not bad. Now it'll pop a lot more. Like I said, once I put the Nuln Oil on there, it's going to pop a lot more. So right now it may not look like it, but it really is. And also after I do the Nuln Oil, I like to always do like just a very thin extra layer over those areas to make them pop. And really the whole point of Mechanicus, as far as I can tell, is like differing metallics. Differing flavors of metallics so that once you put them on the figure and do the whole shtick, it looks really, really pops. So like an example here, you can see his little servo claw here or whatever. He's got this little dot in there. I could leave that and just leave it as Leadbelcher, but I think think it'll look really nice if I just add a tad bit. Just a tiny little bit. See, this is the hard part, is getting to certain angles. I like to get angles that nobody's ever going to see on the model. I'm still like, I'm so autistic about it that I'm just like, if I know that it's not painted, it bothers me. Even if it's not visible to the average eye. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. We got a little rivet port here for where he would receive uplinks to better serve the Omnissiah. Try to lightly paint that. There we go. Well, a little bit more. There we go. Yeah. Got a little, he's got a little head stud right there. I want to get that sucker. Paint the top of it, paint the sides. Hit it from this angle. There we go. There we go. See, now that stud really pops. You see that? You can even see that now, the difference. It's hard to see the color difference on the camera here, I can see. But it looks very different in real life. Great, that guy's doing well. Scribe says, those angry Italians after a hard day's work knew how to beat kids. Yeah. We've got Stormtrooper Julian Caesar says, hello, what's up, brother? Thanks for being here. We got Sleeping Psychopathy. Hi, Patrick. Merry motherfucking Christmas, you filthy animal. Merry Christmas to you as well, and everybody in the chat. Thank you. Just chilling. Painting some Adeptus Mechanicus. Cool. Normally speaking, I would take one color and just go throughout this entire servitor team and apply that color to all of them before switching colors. But one, I want to show you guys what I want to do with this Breacher guy. And secondly, for these finer brushes, I find that you do have to give them little breaks. Otherwise, you'll totally ruin your brush. And I'm not made of money. I have barely enough money to pay for my comic books. And yet here he is painting Warhammer. Again, doing that little trick where you pull the water to the top of the brush to get that fine point again. Nice fine point for later. Gonna let that dry. Look at that, it's beautiful. Actually, really quick, let's so you can see now these are dried. The Nuln Oil has really done a fantastic job, particularly on this one. This one, I think I could go for another Nuln Oil wash. It's not quite as it's not as dark as the other one. It doesn't look as great. So gonna get the God's gift to humankind Nuln Oil here. Sleeping says, did you do the Feast of the Fishes tonight, Scribe Comics? What's the Feast of the Fishes? I went to Holy Mass earlier today, and the priest was efficient as you could possibly imagine. Like, he was so efficient. He was so fast. And, you know, sometimes you're going to mass and you're like, why are you being so fast about this? This is, you know, it's the holy ritual of mass. And you don't, you know, why would you blow through it like that unless you didn't really care? But this wasn't how I felt about this guy. It was, he did a great job. He was very, very fast. He did a great job. Very efficient in the mass. It wasn't like too much. It wasn't too little. Just right. Because, you know, literally at that point, it was literally standing room only. Nobody ever goes to mass unless it's Christmas or Easter, and mostly just Christmas, which is fascinating to me. Like, I always wonder, like, why do you even bother? Not like I don't want them to go to mass, but it's like, why do you, like, if it doesn't matter to you at all throughout the rest of the year, why does it matter to you on Christmas? I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. I know I'm just weird, but there we go. Get another Nuln Oil on that. Put that to the side there. Now I want to use some Nuln Oil on this whole section here. I'm going to use it on the silver. And then I think I'll save the rest for Agrax. I should have done the Agrax on the bronze portions, but I think they were still drying. Drop some of that off there. Yeah, that's going to look awesome. Just kind of pulling that paint out so it's not like too much in any one area. I don't want it to look black. On some other figures, like I was showing you before, this is a different one, but like you can see he looks black, but he was painted silver. So you can see a lot of that silver there. In fact, I might as well hit him. Actually, now that I've got him here, I'm gonna hit him with a little bit more Nuln Oil right there, just right there, and that'll be a nice little. It'll make it a little bit blacker. I want it to be black. I want it to look black, but with like the kind of metallic undertones to it. And we'll put him back over there. So that's done. Let's get on to the Agrax Earthshade for this portion, and also for the bronzish portions of that area right there. Oh, it's a Mexican thing. Sleeping said, did you do the Feast of the Fishes tonight, Scribe? Scribe says, no, my family is back east. I'm in LA. Just a Mexican Xmas this year. He says, I missed the mussels and baby clams on Christmas Eve. Holy smokes. Mussels and baby clams. Dude, that's... What are you... You're fancy, man. You could go for some mussels. Mussels are awesome. Proteins in general. I've eaten a lot of proteins. I've eaten all of the regular stuff, you know, chicken, beef, yada yada, pork. But I love trying new proteins. It's literally my favorite thing to eat. I've had alligator before. That was amazing. Calamari. Amazing. I really, actually, now that I think about it, I think I just am biased towards proteins. I think they all taste awesome. Squirrel. I've had squirrel before. Squirrel was great. Loved squirrel. I got to get my small game hunting license so I can start because I've got and this is all legal, folks. It's all legal. But once I get my suppressor for my PS90, Which, by the way, if you guys have ever fired a PS90 before, you know it's a very quiet gun. Very, very quiet. It's, you know, every gun is loud when unsuppressed, but comparatively speaking, to like a, you know, a 223 or a 45 or even a 9, the 5.7x28 is a very quiet round with little to no recoil. So if you're bad like me, then it's a very useful thing to have. Got some Agrax Earthshade here. It's the brown wash, which I like to apply over bronzish metallic areas, more brown things. If you try to apply it over other things, like I tried to apply it over one of those orange Space Marines, and it did not look good. It looked like straight up mud. I had to strip him and restart the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and you can see this little indent here. I'm going to go ahead and just dab a whole bunch of that in there. I don't need that area to be, you know what I mean? It's not important. It's not an important area. So I'd like it to be more recessed than not. And it also makes it look more 40K-ish, more Warhammer-ish. Because these things these are technically not 40K. They're from 3D printed models of like, I guess the best way I could describe it is either Marvel Crisis or Marvel HeroClix. So I'm just kind of, I was doing a whole bunch of cleaning up today, going through all of my gray pile of shame and being like, okay, what am I going to throw away here? I have a lot of 3D printed stuff that I was like, this is all bullshit that I don't need or I'm never going to utilize in any way. But I found some things, like these terrain pieces here, that I wanted to, you know, it's an easy, just throw a couple coats of paint on it, use it for terrain. Which is a cool thing about the whole mini, the whole mini side of things is that there's a million different like things that you can do with terrain and other things, like other knickknacks that you get. You can translate them into the thing you're actually trying to do. Efficiency. Yeah, a little dark there. So what I'm gonna do here, because it's a little bit too dark here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna whack off a little bit on the palette here. It's a little bit of whacking off, and then knock some of this stuff off of the model, so it's not sitting in those recesses. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It'll dry better than it looks right now. Very nice. Very nice. Rosario says, whoops, eat fish. Wait, oh, wops. Oh my God. Eat fish on the 24th and talk shit about everyone while drinking homemade wine. That's amazing. That sounds amazing. That sounds like so much fun. That's awesome. What is good to print with? What do you mean? Like, because I don't do the printing myself. I like go on Etsy and have other people do it for me. And there's some really awesome people on Etsy who are, you know, they've got libraries upon libraries of miniatures. And when they send the prints to you, the 3D prints, they're already cured. They're already like trimmed. It's like, there's one guy in particular who I always go to for everything I can. And he even, because HeroClix is in a different size scale than what most things are in. It's in 35 millimeter. So he is even willing to like take models that he only sells normally in like 40 millimeter or 32 and do that like middling 35 for me, which is really nice. Okay. I'm gonna do a little. Oh, that's right. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so I did that. I did those washes for that. Now, this is a strange color. It's kind of purplish red. I honestly don't know how it's gonna look on this model, but I think if I water it down enough, I think that it'll look just fine in the recesses of his breacher gun there. But we're about to find out. This is already a very watery paint. It's similar to Null Oil and Agrax Earthshade. You can see that's very watery. Like, you look at that, it's very, very, very watery. Whereas you look at Mournfang Brown, it's not watery at all. You know, you're going to have half and half this to get it to a nice consistency where you're not destroying your details on your model. And that's really the trick of all of this, is that the details on the model are like, it makes all of your work easier for you. So here, I'll give an example here. I'm going to put this over here. I got my palette here. Okay. I want to do Doomfire Magenta in here. But as you can see, it is a very, very watery kind of thing. So if I try to like dump this into that, which is like normally speaking the way that I would mix a color, is I would just dump it in there. If I try to do that, the whole, like, half the bottle is going to come out. And I don't want to do that. So the way I do it, and this is like, this is the way I do. Actually, you know what? It's actually probably better to do it this way. I've never done it this way, but we're going to do it this way tonight. My brother gave me this little bottle of water droppers. So, just regular ass water. Let's put it, I've already used that, and I've already used that tonight. And that one, actually. That's Mournfang Brown there. I normally would have cleaned those out by now. I'm just going to let them dry. It's not a big deal to me. I can always, like, dip this, or I can always, like, soak it in isopropyl alcohol and clean it off. Or I could just buy a new one, because these are like $5. This looks wet, but it's not. It's just gloss black. So what I'm going to do is I'll put it in the orange here. I'm going to give this a good bit of water here. There we go. That's a lot of water. It's going to be okay, though. Now what I'm going to do is take the Doomfire Magenta here. Get that nice on the brush. And deposit it right there. I'm just going to deposit it. So that's a lot of Doomfire. And you can even see, looking at it, how intense that color is, even without being watered down at all. So now I'm going to bring it into the water. Mix it all together. And that is a lot of water, I know. But it's important because the whole point of this is that it's supposed to be very watery. It's supposed to be very, it's supposed to just flow into recesses. And that's the trick. That's the name of the game there. It is very purpley. Okay. Now that I've got my Magenta Doomfire all watered down, I'm going to use a slightly larger brush than my main detail brush. It's a little bit thicker. Take our boy here. His name is Traxxas. That's what I'm going to call him. His name is Traxxas. Sounds like a good name. Traxxas-762. That's his name. He's a servitor. He doesn't get his own real name. Got some Doomfire Magenta on the brush. I can't even really see it here, so I don't know how this is going to work out. But we're going to try it anyway. So not nearly enough. Not nearly enough on that brush. Got a big honking glob here. Here we go. And the idea is to let this settle into all the recesses. You see that? Do you guys see that change there? When I pick it up with the brush and put it somewhere else? Maybe it's a little bit too watery. I think maybe it's a bit too watery right now. But I'm going to try to place it here. Yeah, so it's a bit, I would say it's a bit too watery, and it does look a bit purple right now, which isn't the greatest thing. But at the same time, this is like the lowest color that I'm putting on that area. So it can be a little bit not exactly the right color. It being not exactly the right color is not the end of the world, because I'm still going to be putting a bunch of different other colors on there. But I'm going to mix in a little bit more of that Doomfire Magenta with that water that I had done before to try to make it a little bit less watery, a little bit more painty. Go ahead and whack off here. Clean that brush off so it's good to go. It's good to go. Whoops. Don't tempt me. Get behind me, Satan. I'm going to go ahead and try it again here. You see it is very purple. Yeah. See, that's much better. It's leaving the white, so it's crawling into the recesses there, but leaving the white to stand out. On the screen, it looks very pinkish, very purplish. You can see the difference between this side and that side. That's okay. We're going to be fixing that later. I think the purple's going to be nice, though, like as a... I just think it's going to be a nice little... Look at that. That's sick. You can't see it from the camera here, but it perfectly went into all the recesses and leaving the white to pop, which is very nice, very satisfying. I think the purple at the end of the day is going to be kind of a nice... it's going to make this... There we go. It's going to make this model have like a little bit of a variation in color. And I think that'll make it, in the end, look really nice. It looks okay now, but it's going to look much better later. So yeah, there's a good example of applying a shade to something. Like I said, I do feel like it's a bit too purple right now. But I think we'll fix all that up with time. See, it's going to the bottom. It's so watery right now that it's just flowing to the bottom of the model. A way to fix that is to just let your model dry, like at an angle. I probably should have let that happen with the this other side here, but I didn't because I'm an idiot. So what I'm going to do is because this side right here is not as colored as I want it to be. So I'm gonna add the color there, and then I'm gonna turn it upside down instantly, so that all the water like flows down to that other side, and then it'll dry that way, and it should give me a nice little effect. If it doesn't, I blame the globalist, Marxist, cannibal, pedophile overlord pigs that run the world. Easy. All right. I'm going to go back to doing some more Ironbreaker cleanup here. Leadbelcher. I keep saying Ironbreaker. Ironbreaker's a different color. It's not as good. Breaking out the MVP for Mechanicus, the old detail brush. By the way, speaking of detail brushes and MVPs, panel line accent color. This is straight up cheating. Again, it's another one of those things where I'm not going to perform it on a model. Actually, I could do it on one of these little thingies here. Hold on. So it's an ink. It's not really a paint. I don't know how stripping this will work, if I could strip it. But as you can see, as you can see in there, you can see that? It's very, very, very watery. It's more watery than anything you're ever going to come across. And the whole point of it is to just knock it, like, so the Space Marines, for instance. I used panel line accent on all their panel lines. And, you know, it's a bit sloppy, but that's because I'm just not very good. But I think it ended up looking really good, especially from a distance. When you view these images, when you view these miniatures from a distance, and like I was saying before, that's my whole goal. Then it becomes like, it's spectacular. Like, it looks so good. So let me see here. Let's try it on this here. I'm going to show you guys how this works. Boop. Do you see that? Boop. 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 Do you see that happening there? You see on this side, there's not any line indicators. On this side, it just flowed out. You literally just touch it to where you want it to be, and it flows out. Now, I don't have the strongest hand here, the best hand. So then you get, you know, I like to wipe some of it away with my finger there. But as an example, you can already tell the difference in these two. And all I did is I just dabbed that panel line indicator on there, and it just flowed throughout that whole line there. It just flowed like water. Fantastic stuff. Normally I would hit these with excuse me, oh my god. Normally I would hit these with known oil. Whoops. And that would solve that problem. But I just wanted to kind of show you guys how magic this is. Anyway, back to touching these things up. Wiping some of that excess off. We've got a little It's hard to see, but he's got a little port right here that I want to bring out. Not my best work, but not bad either. Normally speaking, I don't even attach arms to things until I can access and get all the details done in like the back area and the legs, because it's so hard to get to once the arms are on. There's a port over here that I'm just gonna let it go. Like I don't want to go in there with this lead belcher and accidentally mess up the whole black area there, the black glossy black area. So I'm not gonna. I'm looking around this model to see. See, look, we got another port right there. See, that's why I do it. You look around the models to see if there's anything else you can hit with the same paint that you're working with. There's a little port here. Excuse me, I had to cough. I'm trying this new thing. I want to be on streams the whole time. So I'm trying this new thing called, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. Velo. Also known as Zen. I feel like Velo is the generic brand edition of it. It's like chew and dip, except it's just this little pack that you put in your lip and you call it a day. And I'm not entirely used to all that, so sometimes it seeps into my gullet and I have to cough because it's, you know, nicotine juice essentially. God, I love cocaine. I got shit on my brush. I don't love cocaine. I've never done cocaine. Done lots of things, but not cocaine. Here's the hard part. This guy, he's got a very particular flesh tone that I gave him because I mixed his flesh tone. What was it? Cadian flesh tone? Kislev flesh. I mixed this with a bunch of white to kind of make them look a little bit more undead, kind of. Because these servitors are, like, essentially... I'm just saying essentially. Don't come at me if I'm not doing the lore correctly. They're essentially... like the bodies of criminals and shit who then, you know, they're reprobates and they've got to be utilized for the good of the Imperium of mankind, which is so sick. We should do that to everybody. In fact, at work, I told one of my bosses, the parts manager, I was like, hey, you know, there's this one guy in the parts department who, like, can't do anything right ever. Like he literally can't do anything right ever. The third time you tell him to do something is when he does it the way he should have done it the first time. Drove me crazy. So I went into her office and I was like, hey, just hear me out. Like, what if we lobotomize John and then attach cybernetic implements to his body parts so that when he did his job, he could do it correctly? And clipped, he says. And she wasn't against the idea. She was like, wait, do you have a guy who can lobotomize John? And I was like, I mean, I speak Russian. I'm sure I could get somebody. So John, you know, he'll serve the Imperium of Man one way or another. Got another little servitor. Looks like I've done all the ports on him. It's a bit sloppy there on his arm for the lead belcher. I'm going to clean up some of those lines with his flesh tone later. But for right now, I want to get some nice color in there. The thing about some of these models, and this is the most beautiful thing about any model, is if the detail is enough on the model, like I said, it does the painting for you. Like, you just have to kind of apply it. And then the rest of it will seep in when you need it to be there. Did Patrick actually say he wanted to lobotomize one of his coworkers on stream? Yes. Do you know who I am? The funny part is, like, 4 of my other coworkers would agree with me. They'd be like, yeah. Cut his brain out. It's so aggressive. I'm sorry. Cut his brain out. Oh my god. To this info spike here, I'm going to add a little bit of lead belcher. I was going to hit it with the Rune Fang steel. I am going to hit the rest of that mechadendrite with the Rune Fang steel. But I do want to have a little bit of a difference here. Shockingly, I want to have a difference on the tip. Just the tip. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. Hitting this hard angle here. Difficult, but not impossible. I like to do as much painting as I can, like on the sprue, or maybe not on the sprue, but like right after it's been primed, so that I don't have to get to these angles. Really, painting is all about those angles. It's the same way with actually drawing things. Like, so, anybody in the chat here is probably in the chat because they've seen my other shows about Comics Get Commandos and stuff like that. And so, like, comic book, like drawing in general, you'll see these guys, these professionals, flip their pages around before they hit something, because the human hand operates more efficiently in a certain direction than in any other. And it's different for each human person, but generally speaking, there's you got to hit those angles. Otherwise, you're like, if I were to hit an angle like this with this brush, it would be very bad for the model. It would make it, like, it would make the line not look, what's the word I'm looking for? It'd be in the end, it would look very sloppy. So you want to hit these things at the angle that is best. I'm always trying to go like this, because then you're pulling the brush and the paint this way instead of, if you push it this way, it's one of those things you have to kind of like do it yourself to really understand why and which angles work best for you. But generally speaking, I'm always trying to go like this. We got a little bit of a piping here that I want to fix up. This connection between his corrugated pipe and the bronze connection point that I already put in there. It's not great. I don't feel like there's a lot of coverage there. I'll have to hit it again. I'll have to hit it again on a different pass. I'm going to do the same for this portion here where it connects. Yeah, see, that's much better. Much better. Oftentimes it's those very small details that other people would just eschew and say, I don't want to deal with that. That really make or break the model. This guy's very simple. See, you can see here, I haven't even like painted this portion in yet because I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to make it like a Baden black or something like that? Like, I think I do. I'm all out of a Baden black right now, so I've got to figure that out. But I might as well hit this igniter portion while I'm here. Because, I mean, like, push comes to shove, I could make that Balthazar gold like the rest of that section there. Putting a metallic paint onto a metallic paint is no problem. At least I've never had a problem with it. And it's always, it's like the same concept as a base coat. You don't do a base coat, you try to put paints on things, it looks like shit. But a metallic base coat for things, generally speaking, makes it a lot easier to do anything else with them. If you're gonna stick to metallics. There. Looks a little bit better. A little bit better. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at this mite. See if there's anything else we need to fix on here. Yeah, so there's an area that nobody in the whole world is ever going to see, but it bothers me. So we're going to get in there. And we can fix that up later with the stuff that I messed up with the gloss black. There we go. Okay. Yeah. That looks much better now. I'm also going to hit some of these rivets and stitches on his head one more time. I've already hit them with the lead belcher, but does not hurt to add another layer. Unless, of course, you mess it up and it does hurt. Fuck. Go stand over in the corner. All right, let me fix my camera. Sorry. There we go. All right, so what's going on with this guy? Looks like I've fixed him up. I've left these little things on the back here, these little bulbs on the back, unpainted. I think I'm going to hit those with white. And then probably make them blue. I think all the lights on these guys I'm going to make blue because I think blue is a nice... It adds a lot of color to these models while also staying within theme. And so I think that's what I'm going to do there. Right now, I'm just trying to fix up this area. These white areas. Try to make those pop a little bit more. You can see on the back here, like I've got the hazard lines for his little tubes there, but the middle one is missing there. It was hard to connect this guy's arm to his body because it doesn't quite fit perfectly. I don't know if I did something wrong there or if it's just the model. I'm inclined to think it was me. But I'm not sure, so it's not like it matters. I'm still gonna have to fix it. Trying to fix up his face here a bit. There we go. Yeah. That worked out just great. I'm going to hit the back of his neck here. Again, that's another thing. I don't put the heads on until like they're mostly painted. Because I like to have control over that. And it's hard to reach certain areas. I think he's good to go. Honestly, I think I already kind of. Yeah, he looks good. So actually, I'm gonna do one more thing before I sign off for the night. I want to show you guys how I do like the plasma weapons. You can already see, by the way. Maybe you can't anymore, but there were globules of paint on this fine brush, and that bothers me because you know those are going to dry. And once they dry, you've got a ruined brush, at least until you know, use a little isopropyl alcohol, clean that shit off. And I prefer to avoid that, though, if I can. This brush now has too much silver in it. So what I like to do is do this kind of thing where I let the color, I get it in water and I let the color kind of soak out of the brush to a degree. Now the brush is mostly clean. Come on now, focus. Pop that off for tonight. There we go. Get a nice little point there. So for these, for this kind of plasma area, I'm gonna start with Lothar Blue. This is not a, it's not a watery paint. It's a very not watery paint. It's a very like regular layer paint. So I'm gonna shake it up a bit here. You can see it's very thick paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the red here. This, whoops. Stand over there. Stand in the corner. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did for that. I'm going to add a bunch of water and then a few. I think That should do it for 1 or 2 dollops. Then I'm going to add a few dollops of Lothern Blue here. Now, these dollops are easier to apply than the other paint because they're much thicker. I'm going to go like that. Let's get that paint in there. Get myself another dollop there, and then go ahead and go to town here. And as you can see, it still maintains its very bluish, light bluish color. But look at that. Oh, that's perfect, I think. It's very watery right now. It's going to flow very well. Put that off to the side here. Close that sucker up. Don't need him. Take our big boy here. And which brush am I going to use? I'm going to use this brush. The middling small brush. First, I'm going to get that in the blue. Kind of rub some of it out. And then, this is where the fun begins. I don't know if you can see this, but all that blue is going into those recesses there. And it's staying there. Now, it's not... I'd prefer a bit more of a wash. So what I'm going to do is add a little bit more Lothern Blue in there. So it wasn't as perfect as I presupposed it to be. But it's not bad either. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, even now you can see the difference in that guy's arc rifle. Get a big old dollop of that shit. Mix it up with the previous thing I was doing there. Now, it might just be the brush I was using. So actually... yeah, fuck it. Let's find out how this works. Got some of that Lothern Blue on there. I'm just gonna lather it on there. See that? See that difference there? See that though? Look how great that is. It's not done by any stretch of the imagination, but like it's much better than it was before, and you can see how much better it is by looking at that side and seeing how not good that side is. Bad angle. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So it's mostly staying in these recesses here. Although it's ever so slightly popping through onto those whites. I'm just going to rub it around here until it's kind of evenly coated across the whole model, the whole section area anyway. Bro. That's fucking, like, look, that's tabletop ready already. Like, that looks sick. That looks sick. I might even just leave it like that. That looks so sick. But as an example of what I was telling you guys before, I'll show you. I'm going to do that to all the areas that are supposed to be kind of like lights on this guy. So you can see a lot of the paint's going on, but a lot of it's like not going on. And it's sitting in those recesses. And you can see, like, once it dries, it's going to look amazing. It's going to look like it's a light and not. You can also, like, do extra things with that. You can do some, like, dry brushing with the same Lothern blue around the rest of the model to kind of have that light pollution effect on the character. I will do that sometimes, not all the time. Like, as you can see, I did it with, come here, you. This guy, Space Marine Captain. Let's focus, shall we? Can you focus for me? Kind of did it with his, it's hard to see because it's not focusing. But his plasma pistol, I did a bit of a dry brush around the rest of the plasma pistol to give that, like, kind of bleeding light effect. But already, this guy looks sick. Already. Can't argue with that. And that blue is a nice, it pops nice with the red and the black and the silver. I'm actually shocked at how good that looks. It's awesome. While we've got that Lothern blue, I'm just going to do a few more light effects on some of these characters. So this guy, he's got that light right there. And there's too much blue there, so I'm going to wipe the rest of that off. Grab some of that blue. Move it around a bit. Yeah, see, that's a little bit too much, I would say. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. Who else do we have that's got a... Oh, we got our other big boy here. Here we go. A lot of this is dabbing on because it's all very watery. So you dab it onto the... See, I kind of wiped it off there on accident. Kind of just dab it on. Look at that. There we go. The trick is to not let your brush pick that watery paint back up. The trick is to let it sit after it's... it's applied. I'm going to actually add a bit more on here to put on the top. Just put on the top right there. See? Oh, fuck, I did it again. There we go. All right, I'm going to stop messing with it because that looks fine. And yeah, it's like that, folks. Painting's easy. No, it's not easy, but it's fun. It's very enjoyable. I'm going to try to do more of these videos as we go along here. January, like I said, on the Commandos, I'm going to be out for like I won't be on camera, but I'll probably do some of these painting streams, and they'll be probably a little bit less. Like I won't even be as verbal as I've been tonight. As I paint my other kill teams that I've got in the mail coming to me right now. So anyway, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I appreciate everybody who's been here. We got 4 viewers right now. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I hope you got something out of this. Maybe you're thinking about Kill Team and you're like, wow, if this retard can make these guys look good, then I can do the same thing. And yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's a fun game. It's a cool game. I'm excited to be getting into it here. But anyway, like I said, I'll be doing a lot more videos of painting things and, you know, as things go along. So thank you all for being here this evening. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas. God bless you and yours. Gosh, how lucky are we that the whole human species was destined to death and hell, and God himself incarnated as a human person to sacrifice himself for our sins. What a crazy thing. It's really the greatest story of all time. And then Phenomenon and Phenomenal Tales are the other best stories of all time. So back those. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.